Take 350. Could you stay in shot? You've got your monitor. Okay. Let's just check. We've actually run 36 minutes.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's it. We could all just say hallelujah, hallelujah.
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 Right. Okay. This is Basis 56, and Valery, it's absolutely fantastic to see you. I think the last time I saw you was at the conference in Amsterdam
Yeah.
for Nexus. I think you spoke there on the wands of Horus. Yes?
Yeah.
But you've got more things to say, and we've got a special guest interviewer, Sandra, and Sandra is going to deal with the interview from now. So I'm from the Basis Project. Welcome, Valery. And I've got certain things I'd like to ask you when you've got the main part of your interview away. There's some very interesting things happening here with Stonehenge, long-headed, skulled people here, stuff like that. But I'd be really keen to hear what you have to say. So Sandra, away you go.
Absolutely. Just a little bit about my background. My name is Sandra DeRoy, and just a guest host here for the Basis 56. First of all, Valery, thank you so much for responding to my request to participate in this interview. I heard about you quite a while ago, and it was, like Miles said, due to your research of different technologies, wands of Horus, and self-built pyramids, etc. And my background is essentially in psychology and public health sciences. I used to be a musician, and now I got into acting and movie making. And my last project, Walking Case, I concentrate a lot about different forms of manipulation, such as archonic and other benevolent and negative ET races. And I talk about public health and governmental corruption, etc. So anyways, just that is in a nutshell about my work, and anyone who wants to check it out later, I'll give the links. But thank you so much, Valery. And it's really difficult to figure out where to start from, because I was reading your blog, and now you had an update with the General Slavin, I believe. It looked like a disclosure, and we'll get into that. But first of all, Miles, why don't you sort of go ahead and then open up the avenue where we're going to head, and then I'll take it.
Well, basically, Valery, Peter Paget, British MI6 agent, retired last August, and he gave a briefing to the Warminster thing. It's called a conference that happened in Britain 50 years ago, and they had a 50th anniversary of that. And basically he sat down and gave a very quietly spoken, typical English, underestimated and statement about aliens are real. And he also said about the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident. Are you familiar with that?
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
Because actually I spent more than almost 30 years investigating this subject on the different levels.
Yeah. But
So-
he was saying essentially when that happened, there was a massive stockpile of nuclear weapons. I mean, at that time, Britain, the United States, and Russia were having, shall we say, diplomatic difficulties.
We always have kind of diplomatic difficulties up till today.
But unknown to Britain, there was a massive stockpile of nuclear weapons at the Bentwaters and Woodbridge base. And what happened was there was a lot of UFO activity, and all those nuclear weapons were neutralized. But the Americans and the British, well, I think Peter Paget mentioned it was brown trouser time. In other words, the shit hit the fan. But what they didn't know at the time, and maybe you know this, I don't know, Peter said that the same thing happened to the Soviet weapons. They were neutralized by UFOs. Is that something you can talk about?
Well, yes, sure, because I have been involved for many years in investigation of different, let's say, UFO cases in connection with military activities. And being in a close contact with high, officers and officials on that subject, I had access to pretty interesting information, which actually gave me a possibility to look even further and start to not only investigate the subject, also to bring the knowledge which stands behind it to a Russian audience. And I can tell you that within the last 6 years, we did a lot. I think maybe already a few thousands of TV programs and films on Russian TV. Just informing people, educating people on different subjects like UFOs, ETs, ancient knowledge, pyramids, what stands behind the pyramids, psychotronic weapons, what stands behind the political, events. So, pretty wide range of interesting subjects. So, let's say here in Russia, what we call disclosure happened 6 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 6 years. And mostly people are pretty much and well informed.
Interesting. Well, we don't know about that because I've been living in London for 10 years now, on and off. I returned last year, but I don't really know what is going on in Russia. We don't hear about it at all.
I think about 20 years ago.
So, in any way, let's go deeper. Sure, we can start and just talk about UFO existence or ET's existence, but actually, let's go further. Who they are, what their interests, what actually they're doing here. Well, mostly we are ready to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. I have questions, so.
Well, there was a very important. There's a lady, a friend of mine called Dr. Rowney Kilda, has just passed away about a year ago, and she mentioned a major conference in Moscow in 1991, which had two American senior NATO personnel, Albert Stubblebine and Colonel John B. Alexander were invited to that, plus Dr. Rowney Kilda herself. That was a unique experience. I mean, the Soviets at that time must have been treating this this is cosmonauts, top level people, and the Americans are there. I mean, I think Stubblebine was head of all NATO surveillance at the time, and here he is at a UFO conference in Moscow. So this is incredibly forward-thinking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's going on even now. So nothing happened between people, let's say like this. You can go even now and sit together when we are ready to share information. That's normal.
Yeah, just one thing. Let's literally, skip the ABCs because in general, majority of Miles's followers and viewers are very clued up people, so we don't have to start right from evolution. So, we can go, for example, the 3 different races that you mentioned in your last blog article.
Valery, have you heard of a British soldier called John Irwin?
Well, just a little bit, because as maybe you understood that my main interest is now standing quite behind just simple, detection of the UFOs. We are now trying to find the position of humanity, let's say, in cosmopolitical situation.
Yeah.
Actually, because now we are sitting here and our politicians are sitting in Russia, in America, in England, and we are thinking how to act, how to behave, and we are building our political decisions, and at the same time we have forgotten that there is something up there which is watching, controlling, and also participating in the events. And even if you take into account most ancient texts like Enuma Elish or the other, you can see that what actually is going on now, and very, very fast comes to the critical moment, like evolutionary moment. All these events started few thousand years ago, and somebody are watching all the processes which are going on here from that ancient times. That is our interest here, and my personal interest. That's why on my last conference in it was in Brazil. I made a very special presentation, very special, because I was just asked to give a presentation about actual position of human race. I mean, our civilization, what actually happened, why we are in the position very unusual. Actually, UFO exists. That's clear. But why they do not contact us openly? We feel that something strange is going on between us. What actually is going on between us? What is the reason? Why they do not go into the direct contact and because
Is it not because that we are run by a predatory ET which hides in human bodies, and it's too dangerous for them?
Well, just one thing. They actually have been trying to contact I wanted to mention the Kremlin pyramid UFO over Kremlin, I mean, and that's sort of like really changed at least Putin's approach and the face of politics. I mean, he's legit.
That's the case.
Okay, so what happened there?
Sandra, I'm giving you a very big hug. And I tell you, you are a very clever girl. You have noticed it.
Well, he started singing different songs, so my question is, did he have a walk-in, or he just literally was shown that, sort of wake up and smell the coffee? But thank you.
And anyway, if you just, what actually I did, within the last 25 years, I was working with a lot of different texts. And somehow, I noticed that event which took place at the end of 2009, I'm talking about this pyramid-shaped UFO hovering over Greenland.
A lot of things happened around 2009.
It's the same incident that happened with Gilgamesh, that same pyramid-shaped UFO. So
That's the same. That's exactly the same. And for me, when it happened, it was clear. So the last phase started, because the cycle, 15,000 years cycle, is running to its end. So, and that for me and for the people who I'm working with, this is the critical moment. First of all, I'm not talking that this pyramid-shaped UFO had kind of contact with Putin or somebody else in Kremlin. But it was hovering there for the whole night. And right after that, the whole Russian politics was changed critically, just critically. Putin, let's say like this, went out and said,
yeah, this is it. It's
we are doing it this way.
Yeah, good.
Okay?
Yeah, a total different song he's singing now. I have a lot of respect for him, and he's and it's interesting how he's been so patient after all the very cheap and lame provocative maneuvers to just set him off, and he's been so graceful about it. I agree with Simon Parks. He has really obviously he's getting direct information, and I do want to ask you about that. Is that happening then now?
But in any way, what is important, coming back to this pyramid-shaped UFO? So, now, as I already mentioned, after more than 25 years of investigation of different texts, now I can clearly say, and actually did it already, that when this event happened 15,000 years ago with Gilgamesh. But actually, the man we are talking about now, his name was not Gilgamesh. It was different. But in any way, that was the moment, also critical moment. And right after that, approximately in 150 years, a huge asteroid impact took place. So, I'm talking now about at least Azores asteroid, which hit the planet 13,669 years ago. For us, here in Russia, and for my colleagues, this is the critical moment, because we are thinking about the future of our planet. It means if this pyramid-shaped UFO appeared over Kremlin, and then over China, and then over America, it means we have got 120, 150 years left. And now, as it already took place 15,000 years ago, okay? That was the moment of decision, because at that time, those who was controlling the whole situation on the planet Earth, and they were not happy about everything on Earth, they said, okay, Gilgamesh, you have to come back home to the Earth, contact people, and regulate, organize all the situation peacefully, in harmony. So, very interesting, very important subject. For this, we need at least 4 hours presentation. As long as we have very short time, I tell you that Gilgamesh, at that time, he was not lucky to arrange everything politically on the planet Earth. And a huge asteroid hit the planet with terrible, terrible consequences. One of the, you just imagine, planet Earth lost its orbit. Just imagine, lost its orbit. And before we were flying, around the sun with a period 360 days, and now 365. So a lot of terrible, catastrophical events, and the same is going on now. So for me, and I think you will understand me and your heart, because you are a beautiful girl. Maybe you have kids. I have kids, and I'm thinking with my friends, with my colleagues. We are thinking about our planet. We are thinking about humanity. I'm thinking about kids whom I love, because now we have got just 150, not more, years left. Whether we will organize peacefully, we will arrange politically between countries, between politicians, and invest our efforts, our time, our money in preparation, and then to do our best to defend the planet against this asteroid impact. How we can do that? How? I can see only 2 ways. First way, we need to get into deep, close, honest, and open contact with extraterrestrial civilization. Why? First of all, they are pretty much developed. Then, on our planet, we have got a huge, I call it extraterrestrial installation, which shuts down meteorites and asteroids already now.
Okay, yeah.
This installation is actually active for last few thousand years and pretty successful. So we can try to use it with the help of those who is controlling this installation, because this installation is mostly in our dimension.
But it's in sync with apparently Planet X, and it's going to run out. And is it running on Earth energy? Is it draining it somehow? Or these are just additional questions. But the installation, I mean, it's still controlled by curators or the
mostly
Orion.
No, this installation mostly is working automatically. And those who sometime is controlling it, this is the parallel dimension of the Earth. But, you know, we clearly understand that for me, it's already, I have very short time to be here on this planet, and my time is running out. But my kids, we need to prepare kids. Why? Because they are open, they are honest, they are innocent.
They're also getting smarter. They know more than we do.
Much more, and they accept the information clearly.
Yeah.
Honest.
5-year-olds, children, yeah.
And this is the reason why, seeing all these problems, deeply understanding all these problems, we invest already a lot of time for investigation.
Are you doing that in Russia?
Yeah, and building the huge, few big pyramid complexes in Russia. Why? Because now we are starting to bring into life kids with absolutely amazing abilities. And the pyramids, this is the way, this is the instrument number one. And I tell you that within the last few years, we came to understanding and knowledge of absolutely amazing piece of ancient information.
Yeah.
If you ask me why, I can't give you the
Is
comprehensive...
it from Alan Hord's text?
Yeah. But in any way, I just give you a short, brief, just idea. Listen to me very attentively. Consciously controlled reincarnation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see? The
I
difference.
definitely. Oh.
And why? Why it is so important? By one reason. Because if you do it according to the ancient text, if you do it like this, consciously, and you are visiting the place of your former life, especially of your former death, then this child in new body will, how to say, will accept the energy and information of his former life. And then it's like an explosion. Abilities like...
You're talking about.
In other words, we don't get our memories deleted. You retain
At
your
that moment, if you do it like this, you will be remembering all your life.
So you spoke about this in Project Camelot, time traveling, going back in time, rectifying your mistakes and rectifying your past life regression. Obviously, it's okay, right?
Means you are consuming, you are actually taking in all experiences and all energy of your former life. And this is the moment when actually energetic system and hormone system of the human being make a transition on unbelievably high way of possibilities like this. Oops, just very short. And kids, our kids, will be different.
But you always emphasize that you cannot do this only on mental capacity. You need technology, tools
Sure.
to help you to do this.
Is this part of epigenetics?
Well,
Programming
you know,
the genes so that they reproduce with that information in the next generation on?
yes, clear. You
But
are
you need
absolutely
tools
right.
and technology with it, which
Absolutely
is
right.
yeah.
Absolutely right. But at the same time, making experiments, scientific and medical experiments in the pyramids, which actually we did here in Russia for the last 15 years at least, we came to the, like a line, like a border of understanding that it's quite a new science starts here. New science about actual construction of a human being, actual capacities of the consciousness. Because before talking about it, let's be fair about it, we knew nothing. This is just quite a new aspect.
But this is very interesting because there is a group which seems to want us to be made into cyborgs. So that it's one way of retaining consciousness in this reality, but holding it in a cyborg, some kind of cyborg being by 2045.
I would say,
There's the 2045 group, scientists who want to incarnate the essence of a being in an artificial intelligence in a computer system, basically. I don't agree with that.
and important is that everything should be done correct. Correct. This is technology. You are right, Sandra. This is technology.
I think they're going in the wrong direction, but what you just said is a much better way.
So this is what actually I just maybe gave you a very brief but idea about our interests here in Russia, and we are involved in this investigation. Actually, this is what we are going to share. We did this. We shared this information for Russian people. But all the films, all programs we did here, we did it in the Russian language. Just very few of them are translated into English. But in any way, we are open to start sharing this information with the whole world.
Absolutely.
Because we are badly need to go together to embrace each other and, get
This is
prepared.
very positive and wonderful news, Valery.
It just a very side note. I mean, back to the whoever the visitors Kremlin pyramid. They say that then Russia is like collaborating with the Nordic race and then U.S. with the tall whites. I heard that from Project Camelot, I think. But just for my curiosity, is that
Sandra, my dear, it's not the collaboration. It was different. It was kind of an impulse, let's say, energetical influence and impulse, which stimulates the beginning of a human being. It's like after this stimulation, your inner creative abilities starts bubbling.
Are you talking about the third spiral of the DNA, so we have a fully balanced triple hit?
Actually, you are right, but the mechanism is much more deep and much more complicated. But the main idea is that this is the stimulation. They stimulated like this, very invisibly. Stimulated some processes in in Russia, in China, and in America. Actually, I'm sure in United Kingdom too. And then, for one reason, to see which way we will go. Which way? If we will go a positive way, trying to find, this connection, friendship, real love, working and investing our powers, our mental capacities, our wish to bring, to change this life for better, then we will be helped. They will help.
Yes, I can see that.
It's clear. Because if we do it wrong, they will not help.
I agree.
That is very good. Now, you emphasize the importance of parallel universes. Dolores Cannon mentions the splitting of the cell. The shift started 2003. It's the concept of, if you're with the positive shift, the positive parallel, then, God forbid, don't look behind, because you don't want to see what's going to happen to the ones who left behind. Why do you talk about parallel universes? And let's say, especially last year in my personal life, I noticed how synchronistic events brought back blasts from the past, similar family members, friends, and associates, and it was decision time for me to make loving and positive choices. And now I'm not sure which side I have on. Maybe I failed the test. I hope I passed it. I'm bad at exams, but hey, So is that what you talk about?
Sandra, life is very interesting, by the way, and mostly I'm talking not about the parallel universes. I'm talking about parallel dimensions of the Earth. And this is a very, as I told you, very interesting subject, because those who is controlling and stimulating the situation Well, actually, not only on the planet Earth. Those highly developed civilizations, they are doing this very important work in many different civilizations of the galaxy. And important thing is, they prefer to do their job without mistakes. How it is possible to predict the future? Because when we are talking, sitting around the table at home or with friends at any parties, when we start to talk about future, mostly people are trying to get into contact with clairvoyance and asking, what do you see or what did you see? This is our level of understanding. Mm-hmm. On their level, on the higher level, they never do it, and they never did, because they prefer most profound and most effective way to see what actually already happened. How can we imagine this? For those people who is familiar with computer, it is very easy to imagine and understand. Just an example. Imagine we have a so-called computer, special ones, and planet Earth, our dimension, and we are stimulating. So three of us, we are sitting here, and we are deciding what we should do to stimulate the evolutionary processes for better. How we can predict possible mistakes and avoid these mistakes, or how we can predict the most effective ways for these changes. Just imagine, like a program, on your computer, on hard disk, you create thousands of directories, just 1,000 directories. And then in each directory, you make a copy, like file Earth, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, one and the same, and different names, but one and the same program. And then we start on these programs. This program will start working. But what we then do, we change the speed of time in each directory. Okay? Just the same is going on with the planet Earth. Thousands, maybe millions of years ago, this process have been stimulated and started when one dimension and all events which are taking place on the Earth have been copied. We call it divided into two, and then again into two, and to two. And then we have got a possibility, very interesting and important one, that right behind the energetic, well, like a wall, we also have the planet Earth, but the time is different there, because we can find ourselves there, because the important is that this is the dimension where you and me and all the people are existing. But in one dimension, for example, you are still child, or you can be not even came to this life. Your parents are just boys and girls, or you already passed away, okay? Yeah. So when you have 1,000 different versions, then you can make a choice.
Right.
Which way is better, without any mistakes.
Right.
And this is what actually stands behind the idea of division of this universe and the Earth into different dimensions, for one reason: to predict the future, to see actually what will happen soon. And then when you have access to the to the events which took place thousands of years ago, then you know exactly what happened, why it happened, and who stood behind these events.
In other words, a predator, some other intentional intelligence sent this as a weapon.
Well, it all depends on how you're going to use it.
Yeah.
Even just a pencil for the one who is going to make a painting can be used as the knife.
Yeah.
All depends on us.
It's our intention.
Yeah. So, this is the reason why here in Russia we are trying to do our best to investigate all possible information, all possible text, anything.
Just very quickly, your title is you're the head of the UFO Academy in St. Petersburg. A few years ago, I understand as as a level speaking, sorry, hierarchy, there were like two bosses that you had to answer to, and those two bosses had to answer to one boss, and then there's quite a direct communication with Putin, just for humorous purposes. Are you in direct touch with the guy?
That conversation, and well, actually, what I meant, actually, for the first of all, I said that important is that here in Russia, it's not forbidden for us to investigate UFOs and what stands around it, to talk about it, to write, to speak. It's not forbidden. You can do it openly.
Yeah.
And actually, what we do.
Yeah.
For many,
But
many,
it is
many.
treated with respect. Just in the last couple of days, a very prestigious astronaut, Ed Mitchell, has passed away, and they mentioned in his obituary that he studied UFOs. That's very rare here. But moving forward, how can we help in this way of moving forward positively?
Oh, good question.
Educate
First of
your forecomers, yeah. Okay.
What are the things that we need? What are the things that I could do, or Sandra could do, or the viewer do, to educate themselves to make this thing happen? I mean, do we write to our MP or tell the Prime Minister we like things, or what? Or
First of all, we should go, to each other. Okay, we should work together. We should talk openly. Let's come together. Forget about this politics.
yeah,
Just forget about it.
yeah.
Believe me that Russia is very open. Doesn't matter what politics are talking about Russia. Remember, Russia is open. Russia is honest. Just come and you will see everything by yourself.
Well, that looks like a wonderful invitation.
Yeah, we need to come and visit you at your St. Petersburg spa.
Yeah.
I will be speaking in Poland in April, so I'm very impressed by how open they are there and very receptive to new ideas, which is very refreshing from our point of view in this country.
Yeah, the same with Russia. Well, Russia had a lot of problems, through this history. But
Yeah,
this
we'll
problem,
forget about history. Let's move forward.
Just very quickly, right, so we're just going to change our own reality, bubble reality, and then sort of, yeah, that's going back again to different probabilities and parallels. The portal, gosh, I'm lost for words. The most sensitive portal is in Bermuda, where according to Chris Thomas, still the VLANs were trying to come from. What about these portals? I mean, is it like now we're approaching this time where these negative forces are not going to get any enforcement?
I would
be
like
going
to
against the
recommend-
grain then, yeah.
I would recommend you just to stop a little bit talking about positive and negative. Actually, it all depends on our understanding and how we actually treat it.
Yeah, very true. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's most important. Then, on the planet Earth, we have 12 most important portals. 12. 6 of them are in Russia, but the most and the biggest one is up till today is Bermuda Triangle. You are right. But what actually I know for sure that a new portal now is going to be opened in the United States. New, quite new.
Are we talking about the Brookhaven Labs, the CERN stuff, artificial?
Well, in any way, important is that all this will affect America pretty deeply. Pretty deeply. On one hand, according to the all information which actually we had and have analyzed, this is the big privilege and unusual possibilities when the new big time corridor is opened, for example, in England or like in America. But at the same time, this is a very big and very high level of responsibility. Now everything will be depending on what's going on in America with Americans, with their government, and so on. So that's why, on one hand, we are arguing always like kind of arguing with America. But from Russia's side, we are trying to do our best to make everything peacefully, and then to find any possibilities to get into deep, friendly relationships, because if it won't happen, then I'm scared. I'm really sorry that we have got just no more than 10 years left. No more than 10 years left, and the whole situation in the world and in America will be changed critically.
So the portal in America, well, what's coming through that then? Sorry, just to clarify.
Because, you know, if you just calculate, just imagine, remember when a new stage, like a new wave of tornadoes started to come through America. And the appearance of very strong tornadoes is closely connected with the energetic processes involved in opening this new time corridor.
Interesting. I mean, the theory is that the reason why invading all the different Middle Eastern countries, starting from Syria, Yemen, etc., and initially Iran was the big enemy. I mean, that changed overnight. Was that connected to the portal situation that Americans were trying to sort of get their hands on, including Iraq? Is there that connection? Because I obviously don't think it's oil or whatever, you know. There's a very, very different reason behind that.
Well, it's already a very big, huge mixture of interests, and all is there, And what actually is going on now in Iraq, Iran, Syria, in that territories, is getting out of the control of America. Step by step, it's getting out of the control.
Valery, cutting to the chase, the secret space program, the breakaway civilization, is this interested group, is that a fact, or is this is the problem, that the Americans and the associated allies are fighting, attacking these visiting good ETs? They're shooting them down.
You know, I would say like this. Again, I'm not talking about good or bad ETs.
Sorry, yeah.
Everything is under control.
It's a matter of perspective.
And this is just a last year or two. If you're asking me, if you want to know the truth, this is just a question of 1 or 2 years. So, because
I've heard that, yeah.
But this is something Peter Paget was very keen to express very, very blatantly, that we do not have much now left.
Look, let's do like this. And actually, I wrote about it on my blog. I wrote it just at the beginning of 2010. So.
Can you send us a link on that, and then we could put that up on the screen?
Absolutely, it's wands.ru.
Okay, we'll put that up. Yeah.
I wrote it there. So, what I'm talking about, there is a critical moment. When the last American soldier will leave Iraq, this is the moment. You remember if you wrote my blog. A terrible earthquakes will happen in that territories. For me, it was amazing that I have found the information about it in Quran too.
Wow.
Yeah, that for me that was very special. So, and this will happen. Huge, terrible earthquakes. Millions of people will be killed. The whole infrastructure of this territory will be destroyed. And it will be done by technology.
Now, this is important, but one of the reasons for the Iraq War was to get Saddam Hussein's access to a gate in that region.
And that's the portal that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But let's get back to just your technology theory now. This is getting good now.
No, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in any way, a very special technology will be used, which will cause catastrophic earthquakes.
And who's using it? The United States government?
The HAARP will be used for this.
You're referring to scalar earthquake technology.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be the moment. So when it will happen, and this is the moment when the last decision will be made, and then you will see what's going on.
Yeah.
You will see.
That's very sad. Bad news there. And they can't intervene. Either the curatos, yeah, and then none of the three other previous. Curatos are the new ones, I understand, who have come in. They're responsible for the installation update.
Yeah, and important is that if it will happen, because it's going to be a decision. We are talking, everybody are talking about love, we love, but at this particular moment, the idea about love will disappear, and the very terrible weapon will be used. Then, if this weapon will be used, then those who used this weapon will be punished badly, very badly.
There's talk from other ET sources that this will be massive collateral damage on the United States.
Yep.
Wiped out.
Yep.
70 to 80%.
I
That's an
think
ET source.
it means that if those earthquakes will happen, I can give you 100%. America will disappear.
Wow.
Within the following 10 years, no more than 10 years. Unfortunately.
All right. You said you even read about this prediction in Quran, and the Al-Anhor documents. That's the manual for the installation in Baikal River. What is that? Where you got this info, or it's other?
Well, actually, installation is situated in a few territories all over the world. In the Russian Siberia, in Brazil jungles, not so far from Easter Island under the water. This is the three main points
Yeah.
where this installation actually is on top of the ground, and it's active very, very often. I've got, maybe hundreds of different videos already of the activity of this installation, how it works.
In Baikal River, animals already fled the site a few months before that, knowing because the radiation level would be off the chart. But the Al-Anhor text, what are they saying?
We've got 10 minutes left on this, and if we could just make a nice little round up on that, and then we'll close up.
Okay.
But
No, the reason for this, Valery, what I want to do, I just want to make sure.
I like our conversation, you know.
I want to make sure that this is working properly, and when we finish this, I want to check everything, because what I want to do is because it's all been a rush, I'd like to return to this tomorrow. Is that okay?
Well, we need to arrange the time. Okay?
Yeah, and then I want to just go full steam ahead, get with all the little glitches all sorted out, and then let's just do a whole thing and just spend whatever length of time you want to spend on it.
Yeah, because, well, let's be fair about it. We need time. We need time just to bring ideas, information, step by step, very carefully.
Yes.
I think it's good that today
and also,
tomorrow,
if there's any information you would like to include, you could email it to me, or we transfer it to me and include on the edit.
Well, let's think.
Or whatever.
Here I have a few books.
I mean, this is really incredible material, and it's fitting with a lot with different information I have from different sources over the years, and everything is. It's. I think some people have said there are many ways to go to Piccadilly Circus, but you arrive at the same place.
My friends, my beautiful, my dear friends, just understand, we have a last chance. If you, me, if we want to do this, who will do this? Let's do our best.
Yeah.
And let's preserve this world. Otherwise, when I described the consequences and all these terrible events which took place at the moment and after the Azores asteroid impact in my book, The Pyramids, The Legacy of the Gods. Just read it. It was awful, awful. And believe me, I love kids so much. All kids all over the world. And I will do my best to preserve their lives. I don't want it for them. Yes, we are grown up. We are grown-up kids, and we deserved it. But our small kids, they are so innocent.
We are the last generation that has enough knowledge at this time to do something about it.
Yep, yep.
So let's do something about it then.
Let's. I think, yeah, definitely. I understand. I wouldn't want this to happen to my nephews, and my nephews are quite interesting. Yeah, when I observe. It really is. They are made of something else. These new kids.
So let's do it, my friend. Let's get
it. Well, let's round it up. We're at 56 minutes in this hour, and we're just going to basically say thank you very much for now.
Thank you so much.
And we'll return for basis 56
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We're going to continue this, and Valery's site is wands.ru. Yeah, pretty much, you know, the plug and other interesting stuff that he's dealing with. And then my link will come below, and you can watch my first movie, Walking Case, in the trailer for Awakening of 12 Strands.
Well, we'll call this part 1, and bases can continue on for 10 parts, whatever it takes. That's the whole point. Well, thank you very much indeed, Valery.
Thank you so much.
This is
Thank you too.
From the middle of Devizes, the secret place where the crop circles are in England. The mystery of the crop circles.
Yeah.
I have been to England, you know, it's a wonderful country, wonderful. Actually, Stonehenge energy, wow, that's something.
Well, they discovered a second Stonehenge, you know that? But did you know they discovered a third Stonehenge? But because it was in the area where they were putting the new visitor centre, they decided just to build over it because the money was more important than the history.
When I was investigating, aerial pictures of England, there are so many Stonehenge there. So a lot of interesting,
Great. Well, we'll wrap this up for now, and we'll talk offline. Okay.
We'll keep talking.
Big hug.
Big hug. Big hug.
Okay.